At 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday in March 2019, a programmer in Seattle clicked delete on a photograph. Nothing unusual about that. We all do it. But this wasn't just any photograph. It was evidence in a federal investigation, and within 30 seconds of that click, copies of that image had already scattered across 17 different server farms spanning 3 continents. Some versions were cached in places even the photographer didn't know existed. Others sat encrypted in backup systems designed never to forget. The programmer thought the photo was gone. The FBI knew better. Here's the thing about the internet that nobody tells you. Deletion is a lie we've all agreed to believe. Think about this for a moment. You've probably deleted thousands of things in your life. Emails you regret sending, photos from relationships that ended badly, comments you wish you'd never posted, that tweet from 2013 that would absolutely destroy you today. You hit delete, you watch it vanish from your screen, and you feel that little surge of relief. Problem solved, right? Wrong. Let's start with something simple. When you delete a file from your computer, what actually happens? Your operating system doesn't grab a digital eraser and scrub that data away. No, it does something far more disturbing. It simply tells your computer, hey, you can write over this space now if you need to. The file itself? Still there, sitting on your hard drive like a ghost in an abandoned house. Digital forensics experts can recover deleted files from computers that have been underwater for months, burned in fires, or deliberately destroyed with magnets. But that's child's play compared to what happens when you delete something from the internet. In 2009, a woman named Justine posted a joke on Twitter before boarding a flight from New York to South Africa. The tweet was thoughtless, tone-deaf, and she deleted it almost immediately after posting. But in the 11 hours she spent in the air, that deleted tweet had been screenshot, shared, commented on, and archived by thousands of people. By the time her plane landed, she'd become the #1 trending topic worldwide. She'd lost her job. The tweet had been deleted for 11 hours, but it existed in more places than when she'd first posted it. This is the paradox of internet deletion. The act of trying to erase something often preserves it forever. Now let's talk about where your data actually lives. When you upload a photo to Instagram or post something on Facebook, you're not putting it in one place. These companies immediately create multiple copies. There's the version you see on your phone. Then there's the compressed version for people with slower connections, the thumbnail version, the backup copy in a data center in Iowa, another backup in Sweden, a cached version on servers closer to wherever your friends live, so it loads faster when they view it. And that's before we even discuss the AI systems that have already analyzed your face, cataloged the contents of your image, and extracted metadata about when and where you took it. When you hit delete, you're really just removing your ability to see these copies. The copies themselves? Different story. Facebook's own engineers have admitted that when you delete a photo, it can take up to 90 days before all copies are removed from their active systems. And even then, that's just the active systems. Backup tapes can preserve your data for years. One Facebook engineer, speaking anonymously, described their backup infrastructure as digital archaeology in reverse. They're not trying to preserve history. They just can't figure out how to forget it efficiently. But here's where it gets truly strange. There are organizations whose entire purpose is to make sure nothing ever gets deleted. The Internet Archive, for example, runs something called the Wayback Machine. Since 1996, it's been taking snapshots of websites and storing them forever. They currently house over 735 billion web pages. Yes, billion with a B. That embarrassing MySpace page you thought you'd erased in 2008? It's there. The blog post you deleted in shame? Archived. The old version of your company's website with the pricing you don't want competitors to see? Saved for posterity. And they're not alone. Dozens of services exist specifically to capture and preserve deleted content. Some are academic, some are run by researchers, and some are operated by people whose motives are far less noble. In 2014, hackers breached a website used for extramarital affairs. Before the company could even assess the damage, the entire database had been copied and spread across the internet. When users tried to delete their accounts, they discovered something horrifying. The company had been charging people to delete their data, but hadn't actually been deleting anything. Years of messages, photos, and personal information that users thought they'd erased, still sitting on servers, waiting to be stolen. 37 people reportedly died by suicide in the aftermath. Their deleted data had become very, very undeleted. Now let's talk about the ghost servers. These are the places your data ends up that you never agreed to, never knew about, and can never access. Email providers keep copies of your messages long after you delete them, because legally they might need them for court cases. Cloud storage services maintain shadow copies for disaster recovery. Your employer's IT department backs up everything on your work computer to systems you don't control. And let's not even start on government surveillance programs that vacuum up internet traffic in bulk and store it in facilities the size of football fields. The NSA's data center in Utah can store an estimated 5 zettabytes of information. That's 5 trillion gigabytes. At that scale, your entire digital life, every email, every photo, every search, takes up less space than a grain of sand on a beach. But perhaps the most unsettling truth about deleted data is this. Sometimes, it never existed in just one place to begin with. When you send a message through most apps, it passes through dozens of servers on its journey from your phone to your friend's phone. Each of those servers might log that traffic. Internet service providers keep records of what sites you visit. Ad networks track which pages you view even if you never click on an ad. Your phone's operating system reports back to Apple or Google about how you use your device. A security researcher once tried to document every copy of a single photo he'd posted online. He found versions cached by Google, archived by Russian search engines, saved in backup systems of services he'd never heard of, and embedded in datasets used to train artificial intelligence. After 6 months of searching, he gave up counting at over 1,000 copies, and that was just the ones he could find. So when you delete something from the internet, you're really just starting a negotiation with an invisible ecosystem of systems, servers, and services. You're hoping they'll all cooperate. You're trusting that the backups will eventually expire. You're betting that nobody made a copy before you hit delete. You're wagering that no hacker will breach a server you didn't even know was storing your data. Most of the time, you win that bet. Your deleted vacation photo genuinely disappears into the void, but sometimes, you lose. And when you lose, you discover that the internet has perfect memory of things you desperately wish it would forget. The truth is, we've built a world where forgetting has become technologically impossible and remembering has become terrifyingly cheap. Every day, we collectively generate more data than existed in the entire world before the year 2000, and almost none of it ever truly disappears. That programmer in Seattle learned this the hard way. The photo he deleted? It became Exhibit A in a trial. The jury saw every version, every backup, every cached copy. His lawyer argued that he'd tried to destroy evidence. The prosecution pointed out that you can't destroy something that exists in 100 places you don't control. The judge agreed. So the next time you're about to post something, share something, upload something, remember this: the delete button is the most honest liar you'll ever meet. It promises to forget. It swears it's gone forever. It looks you right in the eye and tells you exactly what you want to hear. But the internet? The internet never forgets. It just pretends to.